Hello, this is Marwazir and welcome to Galactic Civilizations 3. So, in case you're not familiar with the series, Galactic Civilizations 2 was one of the best 4X turn-based space strategy games of its time, and Galciv 3 is now out, after several months in early access. Now, I already played the game for a few hours, but this is a huge, massive game, and is potentially a game that I might be playing a lot on the channel. So, for those of you who played or are familiar with Galciv 2, Galciv 3 is an evolution of the series, not a revolution, so if that's what you are looking for in Galciv 3, from what I've seen so far, you definitely won't be disappointed. The game is pretty damn solid from the few hours I played it. But as I said, this is a huge massive game and I'm by no means an expert. But hey, I learn as I go. This is partially what this series is for. I did play Galciv 2 back in the day. In fact, I played it quite a lot, but that was years ago. It's been a pretty long time since I last played it. So anyway, the game does have a campaign, but I'm not going to play it right now. I did actually play through the first campaign mission, it's not very long. I'm going to do a regular game, a sandbox game. So, we have 7 races in the game and we can create a custom race. I will actually go through the custom race creation and all the options there. But we got the Terran Alliance. We got the Jengin Empire. I'll actually go through their main abilities. Each race has 2 kind of main abilities. They also have traits. The traits are basically bonuses like a production bonus, ship range bonus, diplomacy, extra moves, and all kinds of stuff. But each race also has 2 fairly unique abilities. So for example, humans are engineers, and that means the shipyard production decays at half of the normal rate. This might be a little bit confusing, but what this basically means is that every planet that kind of supplies a shipyard with production will give it more production or will get less penalized depending on the distance from the planet to the shipyard. Because when you build a shipyard in space, you can assign sponsors, planet sponsors to that shipyard, and these planets will transfer part of their production to that shipyard. And that production will get penalized if the shipyard is further away from the planet. So that's basically what it means. But let's not go into detailed mechanics just yet. Humans are also colonizers, which means the first improvement on all new colonies is free. This is actually pretty damn strong, because you can get some buildings or improvements that normally require a lot of production for free. So I actually really like that ability. In fact, I'm not entirely sure if this ability works as intended, because you can get some really expensive things with it. Anyway, next up we got the Jengin Empire. They are paranoid, which means they get free drones to defend planets, shipyards and starbases, and they are unwavering, which means their colonies are much harder to culture flip, because one of the legitimate ways to play Galciv is to expand your influence, and if you expand your influence enough, you can actually take over planets just with your culture influence, which is quite neat. Then we got the Alterian Resistance. They get research from precursor artifacts, that's something you find in space as you explore. And their colonies are also much harder to culture flip, that's the same exact ability. Unwavering. The Iridium Corporation, they are entrepreneurs, which means their trade routes give approval bonuses to both parties and 2 extra trade routes. This is quite nice, if you like to go that route. And they are wealthy, which means they start with tourism enabled and with extra credits. You do start with quite a lot of credits regardless of which faction you pick. You start with 5,000 credits, I believe, and it's money that's intended to kind of jumpstart your strategy, which is something I quite like. The start in the game is actually quite quick. You don't have to wait, I don't know how many turns to get decent production and start getting things. You can just buy them, and you are pretty much expected to buy them. That's what the starting money is for you to rush things, units, buildings or whatever. Anyway, then we got the Kryn Syndicate. Their planets start with 100% more population than is brought on the colony ship. So their new planets start with more population, basically. and they get an ideology point each time they invade a planet. Ideologies are a new mechanic, it's quite interesting, but I'll go into that once I start playing. But this is a pretty good ability, especially if you play aggressively. Then we got the Your Singularity, so they don't use food and they don't grow their population naturally. Instead, they need to actually produce their population, basically. It's a project on a planet. And they can colonize tier 1 extreme worlds, which is normally something you need to research. Then we got the Iconian Refuge. They are starfaring, which means all their starbases get the first module for free, and all ships are immune to nebula effects. The free module is quite nice on the starbases, and they are paranoid, same as the Drengin Empire. So they get free drones to defend planets, shipyards and starbases. And then we got the Thalan contingency. They start with free research, and they start knowing the location of the other homeworlds. But, as I said, you don't have to pick any of the pre-made races, you can create a custom race. So that's what we are going to do. So, you can also use one of the existing races as kind of the base template that you can change around instead of starting from zero with nothing. So, for example, if we want to use, I don't know, Kryn Syndicate as the base template, we can copy them, and this is the Kryn Syndicate. We can change pretty much everything here, so I'm going to rename the leader. We are going to be Marbs. We can change the foreground, we can change the background, we can change the pictures, we can change the video. I don't think I'm going to do that. So we also got the race overview. This is how our faction is called, the short name, the ship call sign, homeworld name, start system. So the start system is actually not random. These are preset star systems which are always the same. So for example, the humans start with a solar system containing a class 11 and a class 5 world. And let's say we got Altaris, which is a home system containing a class 10 and a class 6 world. We can pick any of these, but these are not random. There's a ruined star system here. We do have a randomized home system for minor races, which contains a class 16 world, so I could go with this one, which might not be a bad idea actually. I like a randomized home system. But everything else is not random. Alright, let's go with the random one. Randomized home system for minor races. We can pick that. So there we go. And let's go into traits and abilities, the actual important part. This is the most important screen for race customization. So all of these options mean +2, +1, -1, and -2 modifiers. We can pick any of these. I'll remove all of that first. If I pick any negative modifiers, I will get points. So we have 5 trait points. I can get more if I choose any of the negative modifiers. I'll go over all these traits real quick, just so you know what they are. We got production bonus, which is +15, +25, or -15, -25 manufacturing modifier. We got research modifier, 10 and 20. We got influence, 15 and 25, and -15, -25. We got +10% and +20% income modifier, or minus. We have morale modifiers. We have growth modifiers. I might go for -15% growth. We'll see. We also have maintenance modifiers, 10 and 20. We got capacity, modifies the amount of mass our ships can carry. I probably want one of the positives here. We got military manufacturing modifier, 10 and 20. Tourism income modifier, 15 and 25. We got trade route value modifier. I might pick a negative here. We got food modifiers. Then we got soldiering modifiers. These are mostly for planet invasions. I think I can afford -0.2. We got resistance modifiers. This modifies the ability to resist invasions. I might go for -2. Because if our planet gets invaded, then, well, we have bigger problems that shouldn't happen to begin with. Yeah, okay, let's go for -2, just to get extra trade points. We got hit point modifiers. This modifies the durability of our ships, not our soldiers. We got accuracy, again for our starships. We got jamming modifiers. Ships are harder to hit or easier to hit. We got strategic repair modifier. This changes how quickly our ships will be repaired after battle. We also got ship range modifier. This determines how far they can travel from our borders. This can be quite useful. This can be very, very useful. Especially early on for colonization. And then we have diplomacy bonuses. I could probably go for -1. And we also have sensors range. We can't go for a negative here. +1 or +2 moves. And +5, +10 logistics. This modifies how many ships we can have in a fleet. I actually like this one a lot. Anyway, we have 9 trade points. We also got 2 ability points. There are no negatives here. Each race can pick 2 different abilities that gives them an edge. These are all the ones that I already talked about in the pre-made races. So engineers, there are some that weren't present in any of the pre-made races, I think. Gets research from precursor artifacts. Yeah, I remember seeing that one. Immune to the large empire approval penalty. Oh yeah, this one is quite nice if you want to have a very wide and large empire. I've seen this one. Prolific planet stars. Yep, I've seen this one. Paranoid was there. Get an ideology point. Yep, this was the Yor. Starts with free research. Invasions never cost credits. Okay. Starts with tourism enabled. Can colonize tier 1 extreme worlds. Okay, so which ones do we want? I really like the engineers one. It's pretty damn good. Wait, that was not the one, that was colonizers. Yeah. The first improvement is free. You can get some pretty expensive improvements with this. I really like that one. As for the second one, I'm a bit more undecided here. There are a few that I like. Immune to large empire approval penalty, that might be useful. I like the extra free module on star bases. 100% more population isn't bad. Ideology points for invading planets aren't bad. Starting with free research isn't bad. I might go for the ability to colonize tier 1 extreme wars. Yeah, I think I'll go for that one. Or for the research. I'm not quite sure just how much free research that is. So let's go for the ability to colonize tier 1 extreme wars. And now we have to spend our trade points. So, let's see, we already picked some negatives. I could probably go for maybe one more negative. Trade routes, tourism, military. Well, which positives do I want? Probably the logistics one. Where was that? Logistics. Sensor range, moves. Oh yeah, this one, organized, yep. Let's pick that one. Larger fleets are always nice. And what else? Oh yeah, research. I like research. Research is required for pretty much everything. Research is always important. In pretty much every 4X game ever. Or vast majority of them anyway. So, what else? Morale, growth. We have 5 more points, unless I want to pick more negatives. Modifies the amount of mass our ships can carry. Trade route value of food. I might go for extra growth. What else did we have here? Hit points. Modifies accuracy. Strategic repair. Ship range. Oh yeah, I do like ship range. This can be quite useful for early colonization. But plus 25% is a bit of an overkill. Let's go for plus 15%. Moves. I do like that one, so let's go for fast, and that's one more point. I think I'll go for something simple, like productive. Extra production is always useful for everything. Okay, so that's our race. We are colonizers, so the first improvement on new colonies is free. We can colonize tier 1 extreme worlds. We have plus 25% production, plus 20% research, minus 0.2 soldiering, so this reduces our chance of success when it comes to planetary invasions. And we have minus 25% resistance, which means our planets are easier to invade. We have plus 15% ship range. We have minus 1 to diplomacy. I might remove this. And reduce the production bonus perhaps. I mean, diplomacy is pretty damn important. Okay, let's reduce the production bonus a bit. We got plus 2 moves, or as an alternative, I could go for plus 1 move and keep the production. And we have plus 10 logistics, which means we can have bigger fleets. So, that's our race. We will save that. And that's our version of the Kryn Syndicate. They don't really have anything to do with the original Kryn Syndicate, but that's that. Yep. So, that's our race. Let's get started. Now we have to pick our galaxy size. And there are a lot of galaxy sizes. I like how medium is only third choice on the list. Then we got large, huge, gigantic, immense, excessive, and insane. I know a lot of you are yelling at the monitor right now, pick insane! But no, we're not going to pick insane. The insane map is actually quite literally insanely big. I think medium is fine. And tight clusters is also fine-ish. Yeah, let's start with tight clusters. That means we will hopefully have some good planets to colonize close to our starting location. We can colonize, we can customize the galaxy makeup. There are again quite a lot of options here. So star frequency, planet frequency, habitable planet frequency, extreme planet frequency. I can colonize tier 1 extreme planets, so I could increase this if I wanted to. But I think uncommon is fine. Asteroid frequency, nebula, black hole, resource, precursor relic, ascension crystal, and anomaly frequency. I leave them all on occasional, that's fine. We can disable some specific victory conditions, I'm not going to do that. And we can change some other game settings. So, galaxy difficulty, research rate, game pacing, from very slow to very fast, or random. It's funny how you can actually pick random difficulty, like, what? Random difficulty? No, I don't think so. I'll go with normal because I'm by no means an expert in this game. And normal should keep things interesting, as opposed to beginner, I suppose. Then we got pirate bases, United Planets frequency, galactic events frequency, and minor races. I think minor races were set to none by default, and I changed it to rare. Yeah, I'll keep it at rare. We can also disable tech trading, which I like. I don't think I'm going to disable it right now, but I like that this is an option. And unfortunately, you can't actually pick random opponents, which is a bit strange. But alright, we can pick our opponents here. So, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that we can pick normal. We can modify an individual AI's difficulty. We can also set it to random. But no, I'm not going to set that to random. Anyway, let's see. Let's add, well, semi-random. I can't really do this randomly, unless I generate a few random numbers right now in the background. Iconian Refuge, Your Singularity, Iridium, and let's say, I don't know, Altarian Resistance. Looks good to me. So let's actually get started. The setup took a while. So here we are the Kryn Syndicate. Well, we kind of aren't because of our custom race, but whatever. Yeah, some of this description is not accurate anymore, definitely not. Anyway, that's our homeworld. It was actually randomized. Let's zoom all the way out. So this is the medium galaxy. It's pretty damn big. Yeah, It really is. Each dot here is a star system, as you probably guessed. And this is our homeworld right here. Also, if we zoom out, the ships and planets and pretty much everything changes to icons. And I actually kind of like that. This is a little bit more clear, especially in case of colonizable planets. Anyway, let's check our homeworld because I actually randomized that. So class 16 means that we have 16 hexes here that we can build stuff on. We will be able to get more in the future once we get terraforming and some technologies. Right, so we have ultra rare, trade resource. Everything tastes better with ultra spice. This is plus 5% gross income. And adjacent improvements get plus 2 level to wealth. So that means that if I were to build a market, which I currently can't because I don't have the tech, on any of these tiles, right next to the ultra spice, I would get a bonus to wealth. And we have a natural wonder right here. That's plus 2 to tourism for any improvement built on this tile, and plus 1 to influence to any improvement built on a tile adjacent to it. That's what these icons mean. And we also have cataract, which is plus 3 to manufacturing on this tile and plus 1 to research on adjacent tiles. This is really nice because that's right next to our colony capital, and anything built next to the colony capital gets plus 1 bonus. So I can build a factory on this tile. That's actually perfect. That's amazing. And we also have planetfall, plus 2 to influence on this tile and plus 1 to wealth on adjacent tiles. Yeah, I'll probably build whichever improvement gives influence. I don't remember what it's called. Consulate, I think that's it. I'll probably build that here. That definitely makes sense. So anyway, as I think I mentioned already, we start the game with 5,000 credits, and this money is meant to kind of jumpstart your game and your strategy. You are meant to use that money to rush things. So I'm going to use that money to rush my basic factory, which is going to cost me 450. So 5,000 is a lot of money. I actually really like that, because it makes the game start faster. So, now we do start with a few ships, and we start with the shipyard. I talked a little bit about sponsors and planets. So the way this works is that each shipyard has some planets assigned as sponsors, and these planets transfer a part of their production to this shipyard. It's also modified based on the distance. And what percentage of their production is transferred to the shipyard is determined by this split right here. We can adjust production spending, so we can move it more towards wealth, towards research, towards manufacturing, and we can just move it anywhere we want. I could set 100% to manufacturing, which would be a little bit silly right now. I probably want to prioritize research a little bit more than usual right at the start. So we can afford to drop wealth to, let's say, 20% maybe. Let's see. Yeah, let's drop wealth a bit to 25-ish. There, something like that. 25 wealth, 40% research, 45% manufacturing. We can also modify social and military production. 50-50 is fine right now. Okay. So that's that for now, and we start with a few ships. So we will have a survey ship, I believe. No, that's just an explorer, so we'll send it to explore. And we should have a survey ship, I think. Oh yeah, this one. So send it off, and that's a cargo ship in this case. We can use it to explore, I suppose. It's fine. I can actually explore manually with one ship to see what's going on. The auto-exploration can be a little bit weird at times. I want to check the closest systems to find planets that will be good for colonization. So anyway, research. That's obviously a very important part here. The tech tree is pretty damn big, which you probably know if you played Gal Civ 2. So we have 4 branches. We have expansion, engineering, warfare, and conversion. These are fairly self-explanatory. And if I click tech tree, I'll be able to see all of it. There are a lot of techs. This is just one branch. And does a lot of technologies, as you can see. So, first of all, we probably want to get some really basic techs, like Xeno Industrialization. This will give us a Xeno Factory, which is an upgraded version of the basic factory. This will take 5 turns, so we'll grab that. And then I'll probably want Planetary Improvement to be able to get Xeno Farms and such. Planetary Soil Upgrade allows you to get an additional hex, additional tile on your planet. But Xeno Industrialization first. I like to start with that because production is important. I could still rush quite a lot of things. So I could rush a colony ship. How much exactly would that cost us? No, not cargo ship. Remove that. Cancel. Wait, was that the colony ship? Yeah, this was the colony ship. This was actually right. This would cost us 1500. Yeah, I'll probably grab one, but I want to see if there are any good planets nearby. We'll just get another ship for exploration for now. Or get started on a constructor. But don't rush it just yet, just get started on it. I don't actually see any special resources just yet. Yep, we have Durantium right here. So these are special resources that have to be mined with a starbase. And they allow you to do certain things, so Durantium can be used to build enhanced kinetic and armor systems, and to increase durability of ship hulls. Right, the factory is done because I rushed it. I still have a lot of money, so I could rush a few things. I probably want a research lab somewhere around here. I do want the influence, but I don't think that's so important right now. I could build this right here, which isn't a terrible idea. Wait, what's that? Approval or influence bonus? +2 to influence on this tile. Let's get a research lab, probably right next to our colony capital, because I'll still get a bonus from the cataract. +1 to research on adjacent tile. So that definitely makes sense. We'll get a research lab right here. And in fact, I'm going to rush it. There, rushed. What was this again? +1 to influence, +2 to wealth. Yeah, I probably want to go for the tech that will unlock the market once our research is done. So Xeno Industrialization. Let's zoom out a bit. Well, we know Durantium so far. Not a whole lot. There's an artifact over there. Our survey ship should get that automatically. Next. No habitable planets just yet. Oh yeah, colony is idle. Okay. Well, there's the research lab. Now. I could build another factory for more production. I could build a consulate. That's a unique building, which means I can only get one. Anything built next to it will get +1 approval and +1 influence. That's actually sort of interesting. +1 influence. Yeah, planning your planet is actually pretty damn important, depending on what kind of bonuses you have on some of these tiles. I could just build another research lab. I mean, to take the maximum advantage of the cataract. That actually makes the most sense. And research is always important. And I'm actually going to rush that too. There, that leaves us with 3600. Okay, next. This is actually a pretty good start with that cataract. A really good one. So, there's the research lab. Right, need to move manually. How's our research? Should be done soon. Will be done in 1 turn. Okay, now I suppose I should build that consulate. The main reason I'm having some doubts is because this is both an influence improvement and an approval improvement. And I do have influence here on an adjacent tile. And then I would also be able to get +1 to both approval and influence on these 3 tiles, because the building itself will be here. There's just more space here to take advantage of these adjacency bonuses on the consulate. But I can also build it here, on the planetfall, which might make more sense right now. That's +2 influence. I think I'll go for that. But I'm not going to rush this one, I'm just going to build it like so. Xeno industrialization is done. Okay, so this unlocks the Xeno factory, also the Xeno research laboratory, antimatter power plant, and the Starbase factory. And now we probably want to unlock markets. Yep, market center, that's what we want. It will also unlock the entertainment center for approval, that's an approval improvement. The Promethean Pleasure Park, which is also an approval improvement. Just a much more expensive one, and it requires a Promethean to build, which is a special thingy on the planet that you will sometimes get. Yep, so Xeno Commerce is next. Did we find any planets yet? Let's zoom out. Okay, this is not habitable. Didn't find any habitable planets just yet. Okay, maybe we'll get more lucky. We have more Durantium to the west. And this is our first anomaly survey. Mysterious hardware. We got 25% research progress towards Xeno Commerce. That's nice. That's actually really nice. Alright then. So... well, I could rush that colony ship, but that doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now. Nah, we didn't find any bases yet. Alright, next. Let's keep moving. Come on, give me some planets. Let's just move manually this way. That's still not colonizable, that's unfortunate. Maybe this system will have something interesting. Right, I'm going to move manually for a bit. Research is done, so that's Xeno Commerce. And some of the technologies will have specializations, which will have more than one choice. So for example, here, we can go for plus 10% gross income, or we can go for +1 trade licenses. I'm not doing that right now, but I'm just showing what some of these mean. We can pick industrial specialization, that's plus 10% manufacturing, plus 10% research, or minus 5% manufacturing cost. I do like plus 10% research, I like that a lot. I might go for that. Or interstellar travel, right. This unlocks quite a lot of things, including hyperdrive, so we'll pick that up. Come on, give me some planets. Not much to see here, apparently. I could set this to explore automatically, I suppose, but nah. Let's move manually. Was hoping to uncover some planet there. Still nothing. The consulate is done. And now they queued up the Xeno Research Lab upgrade automatically, because we finished the research. So now the planet will upgrade the factory and the research lab to the improved versions. Okay. Oh, we found one of the other factions. Still no colonizable planets. That's interesting. Okay. That's a little bit weird. Maybe this system will have something? That's actually kind of unfortunate. We can't colonize any planets just yet. Alright. Still nothing. Tholium. An economic relic. Right. So we can build a starbase here, and we will get a bonus from the relic. I don't know what the bonus will be. I need to actually build a base to be able to see. But we will get a bonus, which means I probably want a starbase over there, which is something we are already working on. So now I can rush this and it will be a little bit cheaper. We still got almost 3,000, so as you can see, the 5,000 credits that you start with is a lot of money. It really is. I could pretty much get a fleet with that, sort of. I don't really have access to a lot of weapons. Still no colonizable planets, maybe one of these systems. That would be great. So there's the constructor. The starbases can overlap, but they need to be built at least 5 tiles away from each other. The research is done. Okay. So we could unlock the small hull size, which might make sense, just to start getting some ships to defend ourselves. Research weapon systems. Expansion. Oh yeah, I was going to pick up the Xeno farm, but I didn't build a single farm just yet, and we don't need planetary soil upgrade yet. So that can wait. Yeah, let's go for something in warfare, or in engineering. Let's go for weapon systems. Either that or unlock small hull size. Let's go for weapon systems, I'm okay with that. And we'll probably want another constructor pretty soon. Yep. I'll probably just rush a colonist ship once I find a colonizable planet. So get started on another constructor. We'll need some mining starbases. Still nothing colonizable, that's really unfortunate. Oh, that's a pirate, that's not great. Yeah, the pirates might attack us, and we don't really have any weapons on these ships. There's no actual tactical combat in the game, but you can view the battle, which gets pretty old after a while, but it looks pretty, if that's your thing. But you can't control any of this. You can change your view to cinematic, free, which just allows you to move the camera around. It's a little bit oversensitive. And top down. Well, we got destroyed because we didn't have any weapons. There's no option to actually withdraw. So once something attacks you, you don't have the option to retreat. It's not a thing that you can do. So that's the constructor. Okay, we want that relic. So let's see. The starbase will extend our range. I probably want it fairly close to my homeworld-ish. You know, just to make it easier to defend it if something funny happens. But then I'll want a starbase to get the Durantium. So that can be somewhere around here probably. Or I can get Durantium and Tholium from here, that makes a lot more sense. Anyway, starbase right here. So construct starbase. And that's our first starbase. Now we have to pick the module. So in order to take advantage of the relic, we need a Xeno Archaeology module. So that's what we need to pick here, Xeno Archaeology Lab. Build. And we'll find out what that is on the next turn. At least we should. Oh yeah, we have an idle ship. Dead planet, unfortunately. Too many dead planets, wow. Seriously? Will we get even one colonizable planet somewhere around here? That would be great. So far, the answer seems to be no. Okay. Well, what did we get from that relic? Plus 10% gross income. That's not bad. That's actually kind of nice. Research. We got weapon systems. What can we go for next? Planetary improvement. Coordination temple. Manufacturing improvement. Well, only 4 turns to get planetary improvement. Weapon specialization. Oh yeah, beam accuracy, missile accuracy, or kinetic accuracy. I don't think I want that just yet. Universal translator. That's going to be required to actually talk with other races. Right now, oh yeah, there are some colonizable planets here. That's a little bit far away. This one requires atmospheric cleansing, which isn't something we have at the moment. That's a class 15 planet though. But we can get this one. Yep. Should be close enough. So that means I have to rush the colony ship. Let's just set this to survey automatically. And we can rush the colony ship on our shipyard right away. So, that was the squatter. Build and buy. Done. And now we can bring 3 million population or billion, whatever. 3 population units. The maximum allowed, basically. Might be a good idea to escort it, but the pirates were a little bit far away. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Alright, let's go there. Before someone else steals it. That is a pretty good planet, though. How many turns will it take us to get there? 5 turns. Alright, fine. I should probably build a few military ships. You know, in case some funny business happens. We can work on that after the Shaper. Because I definitely want the Tholium and the Durantium. That's for sure. Okay, and yeah, we can't talk with them. Because we don't have the Universal Translator just yet. We'll have that on the next turn. Plus 46, Treasury. Okay, nice. We're down to 1000. And we are getting 1 per turn. 1 BC per turn, which means 1 billion credits, basically. And there's also a colonizable planet here. Barely able to sustain life. I think I prefer to grab the bigger one. Class 9. I definitely do, especially since it's in range. So there's no reason not to grab that. We are pleased with the ideological path you have chosen thus far. We didn't choose anything yet because we didn't get a chance. We'll get a choice once we colonize our first planet. As for new research... Let's see... Good question. We are using the Crane tech tree, which is why we are getting their improvements, and I'm not familiar with many of them. Specialization, +1 moves, -30% support module mass, +2 ship range. I do like the extra range, but I also like +1 move. Still, I think the range will be a little bit more useful in the long run. They are both very useful. Some of these choices are actually pretty damn tough. But this one is easy. I'll go for research. Well, it's not that easy, but I prefer research right now, just to maximize the research we are getting. So let's colonize that planet. And move out of the way here. Oh yeah, that was the survey ship, right. Well, that took long enough to start our first colony, but we're here. Done. We can rename it if we want to. That's our first colony. And now we'll get a choice. This is a colonizing event, and you get ideology points from this. It's not the only way to get ideology points, but these are usually some of the first ideology points that you will get. So in this case, this planet was once home to a fairly advanced alien species that created some extremely long-lasting sub-sentient AI systems. Something you've done has triggered these systems' defensive protocols, and now anyone who ventures outside of the colony is at risk of attack from primitive robotic creatures. What are your orders? So, we can get +10 to benevolent, but also +20% research and +20% influence. We can get +20% research and +20% manufacturing, and +100% tourism. Now, some of the important perks in some of these ideologies, because these are basically 3 different ideology trees: benevolent, pragmatic, and malevolent. You can get a free colony ship from benevolent, you can get a free constructor, you can get 3 constructors, not just 1. from Pragmatic, and you can get a warship from Malevolent. There are a lot of other options in there, but the colonizer from Benevolent and the 3 constructors from Pragmatic are some of the important ones early on. I think I prefer manufacturing, but I also like the 3 colony ship. Plus 20% influence is quite useful too. Let's go for Benevolent. Although I really like the 20% production bonus, it's so good. Screw it, let's go for Pragmatic and take a look at the planet. Well, we can't build anything next to our colony capital, which is unfortunate. +1 to research on adjacent tiles. +3 to approval on this one, and +1 to influence. Okay. Well, I probably want a factory, and I can't get any bonuses to a factory, unfortunately. I'll just build one here, and maybe a second factory here in the future. Or I can build one here, and maybe get an extra tile here to build a second factory next to my colony capital. We can do that in the future. Alright. And since we have the colonizer perk, we can get a basic factory for free. And I could get a shipyard for free, which would be worth quite a lot. Which is why I said earlier that I'm not sure if this perk or ability works as intended, because you can get some really damn expensive improvements from this. And this is the ideology. So we have 1 point in Pragmatic. You don't have to go just for one ideology type. You can spread your points around if you want to, but obviously you need to focus on one if you want to get the top tier perks. So, we can get a preparedness center. This unlocks the ability to build that. This would give us the Pragmatic ideology points every 10 turns. We can get 3 constructor vessels. We can get a free freighter and a trade license. And we can get Negotiator 1, which means no one will declare war on us for the next 50 turns. That's a really interesting one. This is potentially really strong if you use it at the right moment, especially in the late game if you are close to being able to win the game. Right, let's go for the constructors. I like that. So, that's that. Done. And anyway, this has been a pretty long episode so far, so I'm going to make a cut here and continue in next part. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this first episode, please consider leaving a like, and I'll see you next time.